He said that Trump, like God, loves all of his children, talking about the mainstream media, in his words, and Democrats, and said that Trump would need to give them a good spanking.
You've been a bad girl. You've been a bad little girl, and you're getting a vigorous spanking right now. And no, it's not going to hurt me more than it hurts you. No, it's not. I'm not going to lie. This is going to hurt you a lot more than it hurts me. And you earned this. You're getting a vigorous spanking because you've been a bad girl.
And when Trump came on stage, as you can see speaking behind me, they started screaming and chanting, "Daddy's home" and "Daddy dog."
Just when you think Trump rallies couldn't possibly get any stranger, a recent one in Georgia decided to feature Tucker Carlson, of all people, as a speaker. And during his speech, things took a turn not only for the weird, but the disturbingly and inappropriately weird. And I want you to brace yourselves for maximum cringe. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, I regret to show you this. This is super awkward. Tucker Carlson is a uniquely awkward guy, and he's in a uniquely awkward environment. You have to remember that Governor Tim Walz burst onto the scene with this mimetic declaration that MAGA Republicans are weird, and indeed they are. And Donald Trump is a very unusual person, but when you get someone as unusual as Trump and Tucker Carlson within a few yards of each other, it creates a weird nexus, like it warps space and time and it alters the brain. And it causes people to say ridiculous, pornographically inappropriate things on stage. So here's Tucker Carlson, and then we'll dive into the rest. But again, brace yourselves.
If you allow your 14-year-old to light a joint at the breakfast table, if you allow your hormone-addled 15-year-old daughter to slam the door of her bedroom and give you the finger, you're going to get more of it. And those kids are going to wind up in rehab. It's not good for you, and it's not good for them. No. There has to be a point at which dad comes home. Yeah, that's right. Dad comes home. And he's pissed. Dad is pissed. He's not vengeful. He loves his children. Disobedient as they may be, he loves them. Because they're his children. They live in his house. But he's very disappointed in their behavior. And he's going to have to let them know. He's going to have to get to your room right now and think about what you did. And when dad gets home, you know what he says? You've been a bad girl. You've been a bad little girl, and you're getting a vigorous spanking right now. And no, it's not going to hurt me more than it hurts you. No, it's not. I'm not going to lie. This is going to hurt you a lot more than it hurts me. And you earned this. You're getting a vigorous spanking because you've been a bad girl. And it has to be this way. It has to be this way because it's true. And you're only going to get better when you take responsibility for what you did. That's not said in the spirit of hate. It's not said in the spirit of vengeance or bigotry. Far from it. It's said in the spirit of justice, which is the purest and best thing there is.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. That was unusual for a number of different reasons. Number one, that was not at a pornographic convention. That was at a Trump rally in Georgia. It was a political convention. It was a political environment. Tucker Carlson was talking presumably to Trump supporters and voters. They applauded uproariously. I don't know if you saw that one older woman, she was just she had the look of just grim determination as she just clapped her hands yeah, daddy needs to come home. What? What is this? He's of course referring to Donald Trump. And I don't even know a couple of things. He even said, you're living in daddy's house. America isn't daddy's house. It's not Trump's house. It's everybody's house. It's our home as American citizens. No more Trumps than mine, than yours, than Vice President Harris, then President Biden. We all have an equal share in America. It's not like a home that your parents own. It's a really strange metaphor and kind of revealing about how he looks at this, that America is the property of Trump and Trump alone, and we are mere guests in his home for which he can order us to do whatever he wants and discipline us. I assume the daughter in this tortured pornographic metaphor are liberals and progressives and Democrats and rhinos. Yeah, very strange. And apparently it got stranger still. So this was after CNN was there. And obviously when Trump came up to speak, and we'll get to that, he was greeted in a very particular type of way. Trump came on after after Tucker. And Trump was greeted in a very particular way, and CNN's going to break it down. But apparently, yeah, it got weirder.
One thing that is new that I haven't heard is when Tucker Carlson was speaking tonight, he started to say that if Donald Trump were to win, it would be like, quote, daddy's home, daddy's coming home. And he said that Trump, like God, loves all of his children, talking about the mainstream media, in his words, and Democrats, and said that Trump would need to give them a good spanking. Now, this is something the crowd went wild for here. There are thousands of people here. And when Trump came on stage, as you can see speaking behind me, they started screaming and chanting "Daddy's home" and "Daddy Dawn." So this is something I have not heard at a Trump rally so far. But I can tell you the vibe in the room tonight does almost feel like a mini RNC. And one thing,
the cultishness of MAGA is off the charts. It's dangerous. It's disturbing. It is weird. It simultaneously invokes a sense of pity and also contempt, all of which is justified. That is so gross. If that, President Obama was, people talked about when, his historic victory, that there was a cult of personality around Obama. And I think in hindsight, people can see like that was nothing, right? I mean, certainly President Obama was and is more popular than Donald Trump. There's no question about that. Donald Trump, when he was president and as a candidate, never broke 50% approval rating. Obama frequently did. But the level of devotion from individual, there was not a cultishness in support for Obama. It was enthusiasm, to be sure, but not this level of cultishness. Nothing like this. And I should say, I would be incredibly uncomfortable and grossed out as a Democrat if a Democratic politician received this level of cultishness or actively sought it out. I would be like, that's weird. Don't do that. It actually suggests that you suffer from some sort of pathology that makes you unfit for office if you seek this level. I mean, people want to be liked. I'm sure, it's awesome. I love public speaking. It's cool, like being out in front of a crowd and entertaining them and all these things. And, what Obama and Trump do, on steroids, I imagine that feels good. That gives you a dopamine hit. But to seek out this level of cultishness, you want it desperately, it's a little strange. But yeah, that was a Trump rally. Washington Post wrote about it. Tucker Carlson tells Georgia rally Dad Trump will give Harris a spanking. The rift set a tone for Trump's rally in the swing state of Georgia, less than 2 weeks from Election Day, underscoring the themes of retribution that have long propelled the former president's campaign. The Republican presidential nominee is pitching himself as a paternalistic protector for the country, while threatening punishment for his critics and enemies, cheered on by a rowdy base of supporters. Daddy's home, the crowd later chanted after Trump took the stage in Atlanta. Folks, I don't know what to say here. This is really gross. It's disturbing. And this man and this cult are 50% likely, effectively, to take control of the reins of government and the levers of power after this election. So if you want to avoid that and all its implications, then if you're an eligible voter, get off the couch, make a plan to vote. You can make a difference. All the money and cultishness and enthusiasm and Elon Musk, all of that are formidable challenges. But at the end of the day, the vote is the single most important thing, because they can throw all the money in the world at securing Trump's victory. But if people actually don't do the final most important piece, which is vote for them, they don't win. So you have a choice. You can look all of the the cultishness and the disinformation, you stare all of it in the face and say, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to get out and vote for Kamala Harris. I'm going to vote for the Democrats. I'm going to vote every elected Republican I can out of office. And that will keep them from taking power. We still have that agency. We still have that opportunity. Otherwise, we might be hearing that that might set the stage for the next Trump State of the Union, where he refers to himself as Mr. President Daddy Trump and goes off on some sort of weird paternalistic pornographic screed. Yeah, let's try to avoid that, okay? In the meantime, as you take that cold shower to cope from the cringe that you just saw from Tucker Carlson, I want you to keep all this in mind. When you're done, let me know what you think in the comments.